I'm here with Kevin Morrison, who's running for Greene County Mayor on the Republican ticket. And first off, Kevin, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Reed, I've been in office now for about 44 months or so. I'm a native Greene County, and I was born and raised here. My family's always resided here, and with the exception of the handful of years that I was in the military, I've always counted Greene County as home. That's the only place I've ever wanted to be. But I'm an 87 graduate of North Greene High School, a 91 graduate of East Tennessee State University, and a former commissioned officer into the military, a former airborne ranger. I worked 20 years in the pharmaceutical industry, sort of allied with medicine, before returning home. My wife, she's a former resident of Reno, Nevada. She's a native Tennessean now. We have 4 wonderful children and a whole house full of animals, and we live out sort of in the northeast side of the county, and we're just sort of your quintessential Greene County family, and just so that's a little bit about me.
So why have you decided to run for re-election?
Well, Reed, I've always, even 12 years ago when I first ran for this office, I wanted to give back to my community. I mean, there's no truer statement than what Dorothy had to say in The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. And I've always thought that Greene County was God's country, and I always wanted to give back to my community, to the people here. I thought that my training, executive experience in the military and with Fortune 500 companies, graciously prepared me, for this role and to be able to do that. So that's why I ran in the first place, and I would continue to pull on that experience in the future for my reelection. So that's my motivation, is to give back and make the place that I absolutely love the best place to work, play, and live.
So what do you think is the biggest issue that is facing Greene County at this current time?
Well, we have a number of issues that I could pick, Reed. I think the most recent, the most impactful, obviously, are all of the inflationary pressures that are coming to bear, on sort of the common everyday working person, particularly the cost for food and fuel. And that, in my mind, sort of is a flashing caution light at the government level to say we need to keep a steady hand on the tiller. We've tried to do that over the course of 4 years to secure the resources to provide efficient and effective services in a very sort of cost-effective way. But what that means with regard to the pressures that are on people now is that we don't do anything radical to trip a tax increase or overspend or try to overplan big endeavors to where that we're having to come back and ask people for more money at a very difficult time. So I see that the biggest issue facing Greene County is to keep a steady hand on the tiller, so to speak, to ply these very rough waters in a way that people can be provided calm, and that they have enough struggles without the government adding to that. So other than that, we've got broadband going on. We've got a waning pandemic. We've got other services that we have to provide. We've got the pressures that are put on us from people moving here, which we appreciate. Don't get me wrong, but with that comes added pressures to provide more services or provide more efficient services, and that's something we have to plan to keep up with.
So what are your plans if you are elected?
Well, that sort of segues perfectly into that question, which is to keep a steady hand on the tiller, Reed, and not do anything that would sort of add insult to injury, so to speak, with regard to financial pressures on people that are facing very difficult times, again, primarily with food and fuel. So if reelected, and I should go back probably 44 months ago, I published a list that I had sort of borrowed the idea from Newt Gingrich back in 1994 in the contract with America. And it was sort of a very simple document listing a numerous things that the Congress would prioritize. And I did that with the county and the county services. And again, we can make great advances in a measured way. And if reelected, then I would promise to renew those sort of 10 things that focus primarily on the services, the finances, and keeping a steady hand on the tiller to advance our community without any sort of radical type changes.
And is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is, again, having been or as the incumbent county mayor, it is the honor of my lifetime to serve the people of Greene County, and it's sort of a existential, emotional event for me because I believe in that so strongly. It's important for me to try to do a good job, to find alternative methods, to try to find efficiencies in doing my job. And that's what motivates me, is to see our employees and to see our people prospering, to see Greene County at the tip of the spear and competing in the economy of today, because it is a competition. And I've said many times that the opportunities aren't necessarily going away, they're just going somewhere else. And I want, again, Greene County to be the absolute best place to work, play, and live. And but I just want to thank everybody because I endeavor every day to be the leader that you want to vote for.
That was Kevin Morrison, who's running for county mayor on the Republican ticket.